Hi, welcome to the NFPA LiNK YouTube channel. This page is dedicated to answering key questions you have related to electrical and life safety. With easy-to-use digital access to NFPA codes and standards, NFPA LiNK is your window to productivity. Today we've been asked to cover the important topic of how to determine the rating of an opening protective in a fire barrier using the life safety code. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to head to NFPA 101. And then we're going to head to Chapter 8, specifically 8.3, which deals with fire barriers. And so here we see 8.33 opening protectives. And at first glance, the thing you probably see is this giant table. And while probably everything in you wants to jump right to that table, I cannot stress enough the importance of reading the charging language. So often people just jump right into the table, and by not reading the charging language, you're really missing the context for which that table is supposed to be used. So although we're going to head to that table, we're going to take a look at the charging language to make sure we understand what the purpose of this table is. And so you can see the minimum fire rating for opening protectives in fire barriers, fire-rated smoke barriers, and fire-rated smoke partitions shall be in accordance with Table 83322, except as otherwise permitted in 83323 or 83324. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and open up the table. But now we know that there are two exceptions. And so after we look at the table, we're going to want to take a look at those exceptions to see if they're applicable to our situation. So we'll expand the table, and what you see is on the left a list of a number of different components you could have. And the one thing I want to stress, I guess it's the second because I already stressed the importance of reading the charging language for the table. So the second most important thing I want to stress is that this table is not going to dictate the hourly rating of a component. So you don't come here and say, I have an elevator lobby, I need a 1 hour rated wall. No, somewhere else in the code has told you that that component needs to be rated. This table's only intended to give you that minimum fire rating for the opening protective in that component. So let's walk through an example. Let's use a vertical shaft. So this includes things like stairways, exits, and trash chutes. So let's say that elsewhere in the code, I've been told that my stairway needs to have a 1 hour fire rating. So this is where I'm looking, this bottom row of vertical shafts. So to make our stair usable, we're obviously going to need a door into the stair, right? Otherwise, the stair isn't really providing a lot of use within the building. So let's say my first question is, what rating does my fire door have to have? So as I come across the top, I see this column for fire door assemblies. It tells me it's in an hourly rating. So I can see here that I'm required to have a 1 hour fire door. I could keep going if I had other types of openings to see what that hourly rating requirement would be. So let's just say I wanted to have a side light or a transom within that vertical shaft. I can actually see that in my 1 hour vertical shaft, I'm not permitted to have a fire protection rated side light or transom. Instead, I would need to have a 1 hour fire resistance rated side light or transom. You can see there's information for fire rated glazing, marking side light transom panels. There's minimum fire window ratings, as well as the marking requirements for those fire windows. So again, there's a number of components listed. You just find your component and then what type of opening you have, and you follow the table to determine what the hourly rating is. So if we go back to my original question, which was what was my fire door assembly requirement in a 1 hour vertical shaft, I see it's actually 1 hour. But if you remember, there were two exceptions. So let's take a quick look at those exceptions to see if either of those would be applicable to this situation. And we actually see this first one deals with existing fire door assemblies having a minimum 3/4 hour fire protection rating shall be permitted to continue to be used in vertical openings and in exit enclosures in lieu of the minimum 1 hour fire protection rating required by Table 83322. So there we see that actually if I already had an existing 3/4 hour fire protection rating within that exit stair enclosure, that would be permitted to be maintained in use. The other exception deals with the 20-minute fire protection rated door, where that's required in existing buildings, and an existing 1 3/4 inch solid bonded wood core door, an existing steel clad wood door, or an existing solid core steel door shall be permitted unless chapters 11 through 43 prohibit it. So those are the 2 exceptions to the table. We hope that provided some insight into opening protectives. For more information about how NFPA LiNK gives you the knowledge you need to get the job done right, visit www.nfpa.org/link.